In the 1960s, as crowds roared and stadiums shook with anticipation, there was one name that sent chills down the spines of defenders across the National Football League: Jim Brown. He wasn't just a player, he was a force of nature, a living legend who dominated the field every time he laced up his cleats. Defenses knew what was coming, but no amount of preparation could stop him. Jim Brown was the storm, and he left nothing but awe and fear in his wake. But Jim Brown's journey to greatness didn't begin beneath the bright lights of the NFL. It started in the shadows of struggle, in a segregated America where opportunities were as scarce as hope for many. Born in 1936 on St. Simon's Island, Georgia, Jim was raised by his mother, a determined woman who worked as a domestic servant to keep food on the table. Life demanded toughness from Jim early on. He faced racism, poverty, and the constant pressure to prove himself in a world that seemed stacked against him. Still, Jim Brown was no stranger to adversity. He learned to run not just for sport, but for survival, using his speed and strength to navigate the challenges of his youth. When his family moved to Long Island in New York, the young Jim found solace and purpose in athletics. At Manhasset High School, he dazzled in football, basketball, and lacrosse, earning a reputation as a rare and extraordinary talent. Jim's true ascent began when he attended Syracuse University. There, he shattered expectations by excelling in not one, but 4 sports: football, basketball, lacrosse, and track. But it was on the football field where his legend truly took root. He bulldozed through defenders with a power and grace the collegiate world had rarely seen. In his senior year, Brown rushed for nearly 1,000 yards in just 8 games, scored 14 touchdowns, and even set records as a kicker. Yet, despite his accomplishments, he still faced discrimination, often being overlooked for national honors because of the color of his skin. But Jim Brown refused to be defined by prejudice. He let his performance speak, and it spoke volumes. The 1957 NFL Draft marked the beginning of an era. Selected by the Cleveland Browns, Jim entered the league with something to prove. He didn't just want to play, he wanted to redefine the game. From the moment he touched the ball, it was clear. The NFL had never seen anyone quite like him. In his rookie season, Brown led the league in rushing, a feat he would repeat in 8 of his 9 seasons. He was a freight train with the footwork of a dancer, breaking tackles, shrugging off defenders, and sprinting past opposition as if they were standing still. Game after game, year after year, Jim Brown was the standard by which greatness was measured. He retired with 12,312 rushing yards and 106 touchdowns, both records at the time. But numbers only tell part of the story. What truly set Brown apart was how he played. With relentless drive, unmatched physicality, and a will to win that inspired teammates and intimidated opponents. He played in an era when running backs took the brunt of the punishment, yet Jim seemed to grow stronger with every carry, every collision, every challenge. But perhaps the most remarkable chapter of Jim Brown's story is that he chose to step away from football at the very peak of his powers. At just 29 years old, he retired from the NFL, stunning fans and analysts alike. Some wondered why a man at the height of his career would walk away. For Brown, life was about more than football. He saw the world beyond the gridiron, and he was ready for new battles, ones that would test his courage in different ways. Transitioning from football to Hollywood, Jim Brown brought the same intensity to the silver screen. He starred in dozens of films, including the groundbreaking The Dirty Dozen, breaking barriers for Black actors in major motion pictures. He proved that he was more than just a football player. He was a cultural icon, a man of many talents, and a pioneer in every field he entered. But Jim Brown's most lasting impact may be found in his work as an activist and advocate for social change. At a time when America was torn by civil rights struggles, Brown used his platform and influence to fight for equality and justice. He organized and participated in the historic Cleveland Summit in 1967, standing alongside other prominent Black athletes to support Muhammad Ali's refusal to be drafted into the Vietnam War. He founded the Negro Industrial and Economic Union, later known as the Black Economic Union, to help create job opportunities and uplift Black communities. Through it all, Jim Brown remained a powerful voice for change, urging young people to believe in themselves and to strive for greatness, no matter the obstacles they faced. His message was simple but profound. If he could rise from struggle to legendary status, maybe you can too. The boy who once ran from hardship became the man who ran toward history, reshaping not just the game of football, but the world around him. Jim Brown's legacy lives on, not just in the record books, but in the stories of those he inspired. Athletes, actors, activists, and dreamers everywhere. He showed that greatness isn't just about talent or statistics, but about courage, perseverance, and the willingness to break barriers for those who come after. If you enjoyed this story, imagine the next one. Subscribe for more inspiring journeys. And remember that legends aren't born, they're made, one challenge at a time.